For most people, gambling is entertainment without harmful effects. However, it has been referred to as electronic heroin, a serious addiction problem that continues after the fun is gone. Experts report that older Americans are the fastest growing segment of gambling addicts, a group that prefer the slots, which are dangerously addictive. Linda, I've always been wondering about gambling and at which point does it become pathological? I know there are some people that I think gamble too much. So could you address that?
Well, there's what we would call a recreational gambler, a person who can go out and just take so much money with them, and at the end of the night, that's enough. But once they cross that fine line to pathological gambling, they cannot stop. They cannot go back to just playing a little bit. For a lot of gamblers, it's that first win. When they first win the money, then they think they can continue to win.
I hit a royal flush one time playing video poker machine, and I thought, boy, how great this was to win this much money with very little invested. And I thought I would be able to do this all the time.
What gets people to a point that they would do that, would spend so much money and not be able to control themselves? How do they get there? Why do they do that?
A lot of it depends on what's going on in their life at the time. You know, if they're lonely, they've just lost a spouse. It's the way they're handling their depression. They don't know how to handle life on life's terms. Whatever is thrown at you, you don't know how to deal with it. They found a go-to buddy, gambling. Mm-hmm. Something to do where they don't have to think about their problems, they don't have to worry their illnesses, what's going on medically. They can just go to a casino and they can sit there and just keep playing, and they zone out.
So it sounds to me like a big distraction.
It is
from life.
A big distraction from life, absolutely. They no longer have to deal with it. Well, unfortunately, they create insurmountable problems for themselves due to their gambling. All of a sudden, they don't have enough money to pay their rent, their house payment, car insurance. The utilities are being turned off.
Well, you were a pathological gambler at one time, is that correct?
I am in recovery. I've been in recovery 17 years. I came through this program 18 years ago.
When you say this program, you're talking about
the Problem Gambling Center.
Yes,
Yes, with Dr. Rob Hunter. I came through this program and it saved my life. It gave me a life. Mm-hmm. I used gambling 17 years ago to basically check out and emotionally check out. I couldn't deal with what's going on in my life.
Is it similar to alcoholism and drug addiction?
Oh, absolutely.
In what way
it does
are
the
they
same,
similar?
Does the same thing in the brain. It produces the bump, the dopamine that you need to feel good.
The high.
Yes, the adrenaline rush.
I would go ahead and run up credit cards, but I was winning enough to be able to pay the credit card bills when they came in monthly. But then it got out of control.
I don't know how easy it is for a gambler to finally admit that they have a problem and seek help. Do they have to hit some kind of rock bottom?
What I always say personally, I never gave up anything till I was bleeding. Most addicts do not.
Okay,
there has
rock
to be.
bottom.
They have to have a problem for them to get their attention. Mm-hmm. Because the disease is so powerful, cunning, baffling, and powerful. You can justify, rationalize, and minimize any excuse.
Wow.
Absolutely.
You're saying really a lot, and I wonder if people realize that.
They don't realize the power of the disease, of any addiction. You know, we don't wake up one morning and decide we're going to go out and destroy our lives. We don't wake up one morning and decide I'm going to just hand my keys to the repo man at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Because I forgot to make my payments, because I couldn't, because of my gambling.
What does the other spouse do if her husband or his wife does not want to get help?
Call the Problem Gambling Center. Come in and get help for yourself, because unfortunately the family members become as sick as the gambler themselves.
So their lives go out of control as well.
Their lives are just as out of control as the gambler themselves. Because here you are, one day you think your retirement's safe, and you go into your bank account and you realize, where'd the $80,000 go? That your dear loving spouse, when you do some more research, has gone through in the last year.
Pretty frightening, isn't it?
It's very frightening, because there the spouse sits and the world's crumbling around them, and you can't get the compulsive gambler to address the issue.
Hitting bottom for problem gamblers may include feelings of hopelessness, increased problems with alcohol or other drugs, arrest, divorce, and finally thoughts or even attempts at suicide.
So I went out into my shop and decided that I will hang myself.
Our program here is an intensive outpatient program, which is for 6 weeks, 4 days a week, 3 hours each day. And along with our program, it's mandatory by Dr. Hunter that they attend Gamblers Anonymous, because our program is therapy, Gamblers Anonymous is support.
Right.
But here we learn why we're gambling, and then we need to continue in our support therapy.
And I understand that you do not turn anybody away.
No, we do not. The fee is $10 a day. And if you can afford it, then you pay your $10 a day. If you can't, then no one is ever turned away. We're here to give help. Body, mind, and spirit. We put people back together again.
But they have to be willing.
Absolutely.
If they're not willing.
If they're not willing, it won't work.
Seniors and gambling. Pathological gambling can be a problem. It can get out of control. People have been known to really lose a lot of money, lose everything that they have. If you have a spouse or somebody you love who has a compulsive gambling problem, or you need support because you live with someone who has a problem, then by all means contact the Problem Gambling Center. They turn no one away. This is Helen Lieblein, SCA-TV, Anthem Alive.